morning and welcome to the African Utility Week studio. My name is Amy Ryan and today I have with me Ditto, who is the President and CEO at the Utilities Telecommunications Council. Welcome, Joy.
Thanks for having me.
We were talking about your key message to attendees at African Utility Week this year. What do you have to say to utilities, governments, and other attendees at the show?
So I think Africa is in a unique position in terms of building out its utility infrastructure, and it's still in the middle of doing that in many countries in Africa. And I think one of the key messages I would say to utilities is, and to governments who are in partnership with utilities in many cases, is that technology, especially information and communications technology, is a critical component of building out utility infrastructure, and I think Africa has a unique opportunity to build that out in conjunction with the utility infrastructure. And enabling that type of technology is going to solve some of the issues, the economic issues that Africa has, and really, I think, but because we're sort of at the beginning stages in some cases of building out that infrastructure, it's a unique opportunity to use the new technology. So I would just send that message. It's a great opportunity to work with the new technology, and I would say the Africa Utilities Technology Council brings people together who understand the technology, the ICT technology, and we have a global presence in North America, in Latin America, and in Europe, and can really bring in globally people who know and understand those technologies, and that can help people in Africa, in various countries in Africa.
Okay. Do you want to maybe expand on some of your current activities at the UTC at the moment, or the AUTC, and some of the organization's current activities in Africa?
Absolutely. So the organization was just launched about 18 months ago in Africa, and we have a presence in Johannesburg in South Africa. We have only about 8 members right now, so we're in a building mode, but ESCOM is one of our key members, and so we're really, what AUTC does is we provide that expertise on information and communications technology through peer-to-peer relationships, through white papers, analysis, case studies, and also, so that's kind of where we are with Africa. In other parts of the globe, we also provide advocacy for these types of policy issues, like what you do need in this space when you're deploying wireless technologies, you need access to spectrum. And that is applicable worldwide. All utilities who are deploying these types of technologies need access to spectrum, and there are major policy issues around that. So one of the things we will be doing in the future is deciding what the needs are in Africa in terms of those types of policy issues, and how we can be informing governments about the needs of utilities in that space. So that's something we're building on, and we'll be working with our members in terms of what that engagement looks like. But right now we're, again, providing some technical perspective and the peer-to-peer networking, and then also bringing in people from other parts of the globe who have some expertise in this area.
Okay. The UTC currently held its annual conference last week. Can you tell us about some of the key discussion points, or something that was maybe some interesting conversations that you've had, and then perhaps how these can be applied to Africa?
Absolutely. I think the key thing, actually, that I heard last week at our conference, and actually I've heard a bit here, is really about the relationship with the customer.
Okay.
So utilities traditionally have had a more passive relationship with the customer. Utilities obviously care about providing reliable, safe electric service, and they do that worldwide. But the relationship with the customer has previously been maybe more just interacting with them about their bill, monthly interaction. And as technology has evolved, especially in the area of distributed generation like solar, customers really want more understanding of their energy usage. They want to be more involved. They want to understand more how they can impact their energy usage and their relationship with the utility, and that is going to require a lot more interaction with customers.
Yeah.
And here in Africa, I think that's, again, there's a real opportunity for that customer engagement, that grassroots customer engagement as infrastructure is being built out.
Yeah.
Right? How can you use, for example, solar technology, to really bring the infrastructure to people who don't have it, bring electricity to people who don't have it.
Yeah.
But that's going to require that conversation with what are the needs, and technology can really help in that conversation. But also, utilities need to hire, even more traditional utilities that already have the infrastructure, they're going to need to hire workforce that understands social media, that understands what are the customers' needs, how do you communicate with customers, right? So that's an evolution, and I think because of where Africa is and its evolution of deploying utilities, again, there's an opportunity for folks to come into utilities and work in those areas. The customers the most important.
So that new generation coming up now who perhaps have the digital savvy to kind of be able to engage with prosumers nowadays.
Yes, exactly. And I think that applies around the world. And in the case of other parts of the world where electric utilities in particular are more built out, we're going to have to hire people like that and maybe change mindsets.
Yes.
Whereas here, maybe there's that mindset. You can build that mindset in from the beginning, and I think that's going to be a great opportunity here.
What do you think will be some of the major developments in the industrial telecommunications sector over the next 1 to 2 years?
So I think we touched on it a little bit on the previous question, which is about workforce.
Yeah.
And how, and I think this applies in Africa as well as in other parts of the world. You have an aging workforce.
Yeah.
And so you have people who are familiar with these technologies retiring, right? Particularly on the telecommunications network side. So how do you replace that talent? Because the next generation, which is my generation, is a smaller generation. So we're having to pull from the millennial generation and really make them excited about working for utilities. So I think that's a big challenge. So I think that's probably one of the major areas, but also big data analytics, I would say, is another area where we're going to continue to see an evolution. So what I mean by that is, as you deploy these technologies on your system, as you have information technology and telecommunications technology on your system, you're getting a lot of information back.
Yeah.
And if you don't do anything with that information, you're not going to be able to improve your business. But if you can take that information, collect that data, analyze it, and then apply it to better your business, to create more efficiency within your business, that's, I think, a key area where utilities are starting to really embrace it. But again, they have to hire the right people to be able to analyze that data. They have to have the right management structure in place to be able to, again, collect it, analyze it, and then apply it back to the business. And I see that as an evolving area in this ICT world. Okay. So that's what I would say.
How would perhaps, you said the AUTC started about 18 months ago?
Yes.
How would utilities in Africa go about contacting you if they wanted to start that conversation?
We have a website. We have AUTC.org. So that would be the easiest way. Okay. Probably the things that they can remember the most. We have someone here in South Africa who works for us. Okay. So you don't have to go to the U.S. or go elsewhere in the world. So we have someone here who can then talk more about membership in AUTC and those activities. So
great. Right. Thank you so much, Joy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
Again, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching.